I start this little show. Hello, Zoom people. Yeah, this is a little show. It's about 40 minutes long, and it's based on fiction, but also facts. So it's up to you to figure out what's facts and what's fiction. And we'll have a quiz afterward. No, we won't. So let's start.
I think the mic might need to be a little louder.
It can be louder.
Yeah.
I can turn up the volume. Sure. I don't want to blow your ears out.
How about this?
Sounds good. All right, let's start. Well, according to the world's happiness report, I and some of the other people here are from one of the most happy countries in the world. Fiction or fact? You don't have to answer. Well, my name is Helene Katarina Dick. I am, as I said, Norwegian. I am blonde, and I'm a pirate. So, let me just give you a little outline of the next 40 minutes. Imagine a chest of drawers with 4 drawers. In the top drawer, we will find the etymology, short history of the word for fun in Norwegian. In drawer number 2, we will find a Viking queen. In drawer number 3, we will find, well, you have to wait and see. And in drawer number 4, we will find a short history of the Norwegian sewing circle and an example, a little bizarre example of a Norwegian sewing circle. Okay, so here we go. Well, the year is 1605. We are in England. We are in the home of Guy Fawkes. He is very bored. He would like to have some fun. So he invites some of his closest chaps, his fellows, over to his home to figure out what fun things could we do today. Well, okay, fellows, give me some ideas of fun things to do.
Could we pull the cat's tail?
That's very childish.
Oh, I know, whoopee cushion.
Maybe we could put that on the neighbor's pillow chair or something. That's even more childish. He thinks for a little bit, and then light bulb. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rent a room in the basement of the parliament, and we are going to put 36 barrels of gunpowder in the room we are renting. We are gonna blow up the parliament on the 5th of November when the parliament is gathered and the king is there. And when he's dead, my daughter, Elizabeth, will be the queen. That's gonna be so much fun. But Ufta, there is a spy among his friends, and he lets the guards know what's going to happen. So Guy Fawkes is arrested. He's condemned to drawing, parting, and hanging. That's not a good way to go. No. That was the worst punishment you could actually get in the 1600s. So, the condemned person is attached to the executor's carrier. He's being drawn to the execution place. There he's hanged, he's almost dead, taken down, cut open, intestines out, parted into four. And that's the end, and that's the truth. That's not fiction. But he knows this, so when he comes to the scaffold, he jumps up the scaffold and dies. His name, Guy. It's the origin of the word for fun in Norwegian, gay. Do you all know how to pronounce it? Gay.
Let me hear. I can only hear one.
Gay.
Gay.
Ah, very good. The little school children here. Thank you. Well, okay, so now you know the origin of the word, gay. Guy. Okay, let's move on to how this word has been used through the history. Well, in the Viking Age, that word did not exist because that letter did not exist. It came into the alphabet in the Middle Ages. So the Vikings would say Gamam. Gamam. Yes, that's the word they used. In the 1920s, it was used to describe a tipsy person. The person was good and fun, god or gay. And in the Norwegian puzzle crossword books, the synonyms for the word fun is mock, tease, jest, and ironize. Keep that in mind for later. So, I went on a website to figure out what are fun things to do in Norway today. What do people think are fun things to do? So I found one website which mentioned 50 things to do for fun. One, I'm not going to do 50. One, you can learn how to whistle with the fingers between your teeth. That's fun. And you can learn how to start a bonfire. Do you have a lighter, sir? You have a lighter, okay. Or you can learn how to say hi in 50 different languages. We know Norwegians, we don't need to learn. Yoho shibo, that is hi in Korean. So now we know what fun things to do in Norway. And we also know where the word fun derives from, and also a little bit of how it's been used through history. Let's move on to drawer number 2.
Welcome to Viking Queen Gunhild.
Yay.
Okay, let me just start with a helmet. These horns, they did not exist in the Viking Age, and that's a fact. Well, it was Richard Wagner who used these horns on the helmet in his wonderful operas. Well, anyway, let's start with the word Viking. The word Viking is used in modern language to describe a person who comes from the north and who was either a merchant or a sea warrior that would travel from the Eastern Europe to Western Europe to settle or trade or plunder. Yeah, but they did other things too, okay? And this period was from the 800 to 1050. There are many stories about the Viking kings, right? And the Viking men. That's why I would like to shed just a little light on a Viking queen. And this is fun. You mentioned that there were 910 people at your bazaar. This Viking queen, you will remember this. This Viking queen was born in You are so good. Yeah, 910. And she lived till 980. So she was pretty old for that time. Viking Queen Gunhild. There are two stories about where she was born. One story tells us that she was born in Denmark. Another story tells us that she was born in Norway. And of course we choose today the story where she was born in Denmark. Yeah, of course. Yes, and she was born, her father was the king, and she would later marry a guy who became a king, Eric Bloodaxe. So she became Mrs. Bloodaxe. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Bloodaxe. Mr. and Mrs. Bloodaxe, they had 8 children. And she also had, one of these children became later a king. So her nickname was the King Mother. And today we're just gonna call her Viking Queen Gunhild. Okay, so that's her bio. Oh, and there are so much written about her. Let's do her looks first. Because yes, she did have blonde hair. She had long blonde hair, and she was petite, and she was described as being gorgeous, beautiful, Miss Viking Queen Norway. And that's all there is to say about her when it comes to nice things. Her personality is described really in several sources, described as being evil and reckless, and she could do sorcery, and she could create famine. And she got other people to kill for her, of course, and she was probably the brain behind all the raids that Eric and she did. And they lived in Norway most of her life, but then they were sent out in exile and lived in Denmark and the Orkney Island. Well, that was a little bit about her. Now, let's get to how they were dressed in the Middle Age, in the Viking period. In fashion, colors, blue and red. So of course, our Viking queen would be dressed in a woolen, red, long dress. And silk was very in style. So she had a white silk blouse and then a blue woolen cape. And it was of course held together by a brooch, a golden brooch, very beautifully ornamented, which also was very in style They loved jewelry, the Vikings. And also, to get her hair, they were able to dye their hair in that time because blonde hair was modern and popular. So they would take grease from an animal and put it together with ashes, let it sit in the hair, and stay there for a while, and it made the hair blonder. That's the fashion tips for you ladies. Yeah.
Where's this?
And do you also know what the day Saturday means in Norwegian? Lørdag. It means, yes, the day when you are taking a bath. So that's when they did their hair too. Okay, so now we know a little bit about her looks, who she was married to, and when she lived, and also her personality. How would a day in her life look like?
Okay, let me look at my schedule. Where's my iPhone?
All right.
9 till 10, I will do some sorcery. From 10 till 12, I will tease my children. 12 till 3, I will mock the English king. And 3 till 5, oh yeah, I'll talk to my wonderful Eric about the next raid. And for the rest of the night, we're gonna invite people that we want to get along with and have a big party.
I think that's the way to look. That yeah. Now we know the bio, we know the looks, we know what she likes to do and what she thinks are fun things to do. Mock and tease and ironize. Let's move on from Viking Queen Gunhild. We will meet her later, and we also will meet Guy Fawkes later. And move on to drawer number 3.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart, what lies ahead? Will there be rainbows day after day? Here's what she said to me. Okay, guys. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Thank you. Okay. So, please welcome Finance, Minister of Finances, model, chef, and house cleaner. The Norwegian housewife! Okay, all right. Yes, I really would like to tell you the history of the Norwegian housewife. And let's start in the 1800s. The housewife the Norwegian housewife's mission was to support, to help, and to please the husband. And we're done with that period. I'm just gonna add on one thing, all right? So they started actually something really fun, and that was the housewife schools, where these female who could afford it and who wanted to could go and learn how to manage the resources of the house. Now we're done with the 1800s. In 1919, the government organized a committee, and the committee suggested 5 months of mandatory housewife schooling so the women could learn how to boil an egg. The suggestion was turned down. We're done with that here. And now, here, the 1950s. These are the glory days of the housewife. This wonderful creature, this angel of the home, who had hair that matched the curtains, or the curtains matched her hair, whatever. Yes, she was seen as a very proud woman. We're gonna stick to this period for a little bit. So it was so important to target the marketing to these women, because they were the consumers with a big C, the capital C. And it was all about electrical appliances for the house to make everything so easy, right, for them. Yeah. So they had actually they had movies in the movie theaters for the housewives. And it was 1 hour movies that talked about everything that a woman needed to know about managing a house and all the electrical appliances that she needed. So I went on YouTube and I searched for those movies, and whoop, yes, I found an excerpt, and you should really go look at this. It's super fun. And I must just tell you, there were super long lines to get into those movies. And it was in the middle of the day, so you understand why the lines were long, to get away from the house. Anyway, okay, so you have to imagine. This is what we see. Okay, it's black and white, but we can just imagine the colors. And there is, of course, a male narrator, because we're talking about electrical appliances. So the male narrator tells us what is important for a perfect breakfast. So what we see is a wonderful little table with a pleated tablecloth, and the silver utensils, and you have the coffee cups, and you have the coffee pot, and then that toaster. Da, 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 da. If you don't have a toaster, you will not be able to make a good breakfast. No, because this is the most important thing of all. And the male narrative can inform us when you are to clean out the crumbs. Do not turn the toaster upside down. And I was like, really? That's what I always do. No. Underneath there is a little lid that you open, and all the crumbs come out. And I was like, what? Seriously? I ran into my kitchen. I needed to investigate this. Here's my kitchen. And here's my toaster. Come on, really? Is this true? No, there's no lid underneath. And then I looked around. And yeah, right. Whoa. 36 years. It took me 36 years to figure this out. Oh Gosh, I'm making such good breakfast now. All right. Okay. So those were the 50s. All right. Let's move on. 1960s. Okay. This is a little shorter period here because it's not that much going on. The most important thing now that all the appliances for the house was taken care of was her looks. So, all the commercials were about hygiene and makeup, make her look really beautiful. And why? Because she was the carrier of the family's facade. Yeah, that's 1970s. If the 1950s were the glory days of the housewife, this is the low point. It's downhill from now on. Seriously. Yeah. It's nothing fun anymore. She was actually seen as an isolated woman, housewife, because the other women were now working and, fulfilling themselves. But so they were pretty lonely and isolated. But don't worry, we're gonna make it fun later. Hang on. So, you know now a little bit about the Norwegian housewife, right? Yeah. So, let's move on to drawer number 4. I come home in the morning light. My mother says, what you gonna do with your life? Oh, mother, when at the ball with one, and girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. That's what they really want. Girls just wanna have fun. All right. Okay, girls just want to have fun. Yeah. All right.
No lies there.
So, we're going to talk about the Norwegian sewing circle. And we are also going to meet a bizarre sewing circle a little later. So, let me just give you the story, a short history of the Norwegian sewing circle. Well, the year is 1906, and Red Cross, the Norwegian Red Cross, and the Women's Health Association encourages Norwegian women to get together to sew. And that sounds like a fun activity. The reason is the government is afraid of being attacked by the Swedes, because the year before, in 1905, Norway withdrew from the union with the Swedes. So we were scared, because we have been in war with Sweden before, right? So the women were encouraged to sew because we needed supply for the hospitals. We needed pillowcases, we needed sheets, we needed cloths and towels. And these sewing circles were immensely popular. Well, the Norwegian ladies, they have kept on having these sewing circles. It's not so much about sewing anymore. No, it's about, drinking a little bit, gossiping a lot, and having fun. So let's bring it all together now. And I would like to present my imaginary sewing circle. And it's the Norwegian housewife from the 1970s who wants to have some fun. So she is inviting a couple of people. We'll get back to that. Well, let me just first talk a little bit about her, because she lives on the western side of Oslo, where it's very, very, very expensive to live. She lives there with her husband, Sven, and no children. So she's trying to make her life a little fun, because her husband works, of course, so they can live in this beautiful little apartment. Well, so she gets dressed in her mustard yellow blouse with huge collar and with a little gray vest outside. These are the colors of the 70s in Norway, okay? Yeah. And nicely tucked in her polyester pants with huge bell bottoms and her brown patent leather shoes. She sends out the invitation.
Well, who's gonna be here? Guy Fawkes and Viking Klinkenhair. Where is it gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be in my apartment on the west of Oslo. And why? Because we're gonna have so much fun. And are we eating? Yes, we are having dinner. When? 16th of November at 7:30, 1970. Okay. So, Guy Fawkes and Viking Queen Gunhild arrive in her apartment, and they are gathered around a dining table, and the Norwegian housewife says, help yourself, I made some mackerel cakes and some carrot salad, because that's what I found in a Norwegian magazine that I follow every week, and it's a very popular dish. So help yourself.
And then she asks Viking Queen Gunhild to tell us, what are you doing for fun things in life? Could you tell us that?
Yes, I would love to do that. I will tell you, Guy Fawkes and housewife, about the day I met my husband, Eric. And this is all correct. Okay, I was up there in the night. I was learning sorcery, to do sorcery from two Finnish wizards. They are the best. Well, they were the best. So I learned to do sorcery. And you know what? The two Finnish guys, they could kill people with just staring at them. I didn't learn to do that, but I learned a lot of other good stuff. Well, anyway. And then one day they asked me for sexual favors because of all I had learned. I did not want to do that. Of course, I didn't want to. They were horrible. No, thank you very much. Okay? So they went out to go hunting, and then a bunch of guys came by the hut where we stayed, and it was Eric's man, and it was also Eric. They came in the hut because I said, help, 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 a lady in distress, come help. So they came in, and I told them all about those stupid wizards, and they said, oh, don't worry, we're gonna take care of that. Oh, thank you, Daddy, so kind of you. So they hid in the other rooms, and the two wizards came. And when they came, I said, oh, come into my bed. You can sleep on either side here, and we're gonna have a nice time, yeah. But they fell asleep. So I put the two bags over their heads so they could use their eyes if they woke up, right? And Eric's men came in and killed them. And after that, he asked to marry me. So my life has been very much fun, thank you. Okay, that's a nice story. Okay. Well, how about you, Guy Fawkes? What have you been doing the last 400 years?
Oh. Well, I actually found that rapping is quite fun. So I have made a little rap for you women today, since we're gathered here, where I'm telling you a little bit about what I have been doing the last 400 years. Protestants, Catholics, I felt we the Catholics were the suppressed group. They offered me peace. Was frustrated and bored, wanted fun in life, like getting an award. Pulling the cat's tail, I'm so childish. Why do some people think it's so wildish? I even tried video gaming. Why are people exclaiming? It's so much fun hanging around playing. We hope we win your fighting. The whoopee cushion joke, let's say for the idiotic bloke. 36 barrels at work, felt like a big job. Like I had screwed it all. I wanted my daughter, Elizabeth to be the queen with capital Q. I felt really blue, like I had screwed the whole thing. It didn't feel like just a piece thing. I've been flying around for 400 years. I've been filled with fears. I've been looking for fun, and where's my beers? I've been checking out new inventions from these other dimensions. Follow now. Okay. Reflecting telescope, reflecting telescope, beauty, carbonated water, elevator brake, escalator, at cars, let me inhale before I exhale. Yo. Yes, so he has been checking out some inventions, but he didn't really love it. So he admits that he really enjoys this sewing circle. But now Guy and our queen, Gunhild, really would like to hear what this housewife is doing for fun. Okay, well, let me tell you this. This other day, I think it was a couple of days ago, yeah, my husband Sven came home from work, and I said to him, Sven, the shower is broken. Could you repair it for me? And he said, well, I'm not a plumber. But Sven, the car is broken. It's completely like snorted and clumped. Could you please fix it? Oh my God, I'm not a mechanic. Well, and then the next day I could inform him, Sven, you know what? Everything's taken care of because I asked that handsome neighbor handyman about a little help. He fixed the shower and he also fixed the car. So what did you have to pay? Well, he made me an offer. He said that I could either bake him a wonderful cake or I could come home with him and make him a little happy. Oh, so what kind of cake did you make him? Well, I'm not a baker. Well, they keep on gossiping, eating mackerel cakes, and having fun. Guy Fawkes, the queen Gunhild, and the housewife, And they decide to do this every month. And the housewife has made a song for this little sewing circle. So they end singing this song. Have fun and do not be sad. Always you'll become the man. Fill the room with laughter. Don't go and hide in the rafters. No, no, keep it lively and fun. Let yourself shine like the sun. Just joke and tease. Enjoy life with all the squeeze. But also when you're alone Yes,
And I'm happy to answer any questions not related to history. Just kidding. No, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm not an expert on Viking, but Viking period, but I thought this is a lot of this is true. She was seen as a very evil woman. Yeah. Any questions?